Well, I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about kind of a recap of Mag 40. And, you know, there's been a lot of discussion on the internet, Facebook. Michael Bain even took it up on his blog about gun performance and what reliability is. There's been a lot of talk about the 1911s. There's been a lot of talk about, you know, small guns versus big guns, caliber, those sort of things. Let me first off and say this. I wanted to declare a couple of things up front so that for the basis of my discussion we avoid repeating the obvious things like 19 times on the internet and on the boards, okay? First of all, I'm not a big fan of Glock, not because I don't like Glock, but because Glocks don't like me. See, my hand apparently is not perfect because when I shoot a Glock, I get what I call Glock bite right here. And that's where the slide comes up and creases my hand. And I guess if I was working out with more Russian kettlebells or whatever, I wouldn't have that issue. But apparently, my hand is not perfect, obviously, because I get Glock bites. So I don't enjoy shooting them. They're painful. So that's my bias against Glock. Nothing more, nothing less. The second thing I want to declare is this. I think with ammunition calibers being so good, I think if you shoot a 45, a 9, a 40, a 38 Super, insert whatever you'd like at this point, I actually think that, you know, ammunition calibers matter less and less. Here's the final little truth I believe. Even with ammunition, even with the right pistol, even with shot placement, they have conclusively found that there is in fact a magic bullet. The only question is how far down is that in your magazine and which magazine is it in? So I'm a big proponent that you have to keep shooting, you have to have good shot placement, you have to have a reliable handgun. Okay, so with all those things declared, I just want to comment on a couple of things that I've seen. The first one is this. I think a lot of what's going on the internet and Facebook and other places is just simply this. I think I can say attention whore on this video, or I just did perhaps. You know, there's a distinct group of people out here that are what I call attention whores. That means, hey, look at me. I've said something out loud. I've said something out here. I'm stirring the pot. Look at me, look at me, look at me. So, look at me. I'm an attention whore. So I'm going to talk about some things. The first thing is this. We recently had 33 students on the line, almost 40 people if you count instructors that shot. And what I asked all the instructors to do was to keep a detailed account, and each day we recapped on any gun malfunctions that we had. So I want to start off and talk about, in no particular order, the gun malfunctions that were there. And let me say, I saw guns from Kimber, Nighthawk, Glock, Springfield Armory, Sig Sauer. I also saw, if I'm not mistaken, there was a couple other variants out there that didn't make a big impression on me, but there was a general, you know, fielding of polymer pistols, 1911s, you know, and I don't think there was a revolver in the bunch. Here's the malfunctions that I saw in no particular order. I saw a couple of SIGs take some dumps. One of the SIGs that consistently took a dump was just simply a lubrication issue, and I said, hey brother, why don't you try putting a little oil on that gun? Once we oiled it up, worked fine. I saw one SIG that the guy was having some problems with. He had hands that looked something like bear claws, and he was shooting a little compact 9mm single stack SIG. I think it might have been a 239 if I'm not mistaken. I don't have all my numbers down here. And I said, hey bro, why don't you switch to a gun that fits your hand? And big guy switched to a 226, no issues after that. 226 or 228, excuse me. And all of a sudden, no more issues. I saw two Kimbers take a dump. Let me tell you that it was common. First of all, both of these guns were in 45. They were 1911 style guns. Both of them, oddly enough, I believe had the Ed Brown bobtail on the gun. And beautiful, beautiful pistols. Both of them took a dump from the same thing. The triggers were both bent in them. And what I mean on a 1911 is you've got the trigger that comes out here, and then you've got a bow that comes up with two pieces of metal on both sides, and then it's closed on the top. And what had happened was the trigger bow in both those guns was actually bent. One of them, the magazines would not drop free. We changed some magazines around, and you could clearly see the scuffing on the magazines, so the trigger bows were bent. The other one, it was kind of funny, under recoil, the trigger would not reset until you let off completely, and then it kind of creeped forward for the next reset. I attribute both of those to either poor fitting or poor parts in the gun. Other than that, there was no feeding or other reliability issues with the Kimbers. I saw a Wilson Combat gun, beautiful gun, that slide wouldn't lock back. Functioned perfectly, slide wouldn't lock back. I kind of tentatively diagnosed that as magazine issues. I saw several Glocks malfunction. I saw some failures to feed. I saw some failures to extract. I saw some magazine issues. You know what? We got them all back in service. All the guns got back in service. With a little Car PM9, a guy shot through the class with a Car PM9 with one extended magazine, the rest of them small. Saw a couple of issues with that. Not sure if he was just fatigued, but you know, the gun got back in action and away we went. So, you know, I saw a Nighthawk malfunction. 1911, 45 ACP, guess what? Brand new ammunition. Never fired it before, brought it to class without checking it, and lo and behold, he put regular 230 grain ball ammunition, ran without a hitch. So, you know, I fault him for not bringing good ammunition to class. Yeah, I do. We all do it though. Saw lots of Glocks run perfectly. Matter of fact, high score in the class was shot with a Glock 30, the compact 45 double stack. Massad Ayoob shot a 300 with it, shot the tightest group. Second best score was shot with a Nighthawk 1911 9mm. That would have been me. I think the third highest score was shot with a Springfield Armory carry gun, box stock in 9mm. Then the next highest score was a Glock, and then wandered on down from there. So, you know, I guess what I would say from this is a couple learning experiences. You know, I'm keeping track of what's malfunctioning. I have seen no guns that are perfect because they're mechanical. I've seen some guns that typically have issues as a category of manufacturing, but not as a category of guns. So, you know, the thing that I'm going to encourage here is this. If someone is providing you with empirical evidence, okay, we had this many guns, we fired this many rounds, these are the number of malfunctions, these are the things that happen, I think that's useful information. If someone uses never, almost always, you know, I worry about that. So I'm going to ask the people who are responsible to, you know, give information. If you're teaching a class and you're keeping track of the malfunctions, let's keep track of all of them. Let's try not to use words like always and never. And I respectfully ask this of the instructors because people look up to you and they say, well, this gun always, this gun never. That's not the case. I saw lots of guns malfunction. Frankly, some of my favorite malfunctions come out of a couple of Glocks. First of all, if you want to make a Glock malfunction, take a 40 caliber Glock, one of the compact models, don't know the number, and put a flashlight on it, try shooting the gun, see what happens. It won't run. Take the Gen 4s, which we've discussed numerous times prior to the spring being in there. You know, they're choke masters. The little Kimbers, I freely agree, most of them choke. You know, a lot of the Kimbers that we're seeing right now, I've told you what was going on with them, but here's the thing. Take any Glock, put some of those good South Korean knockoff magazines in the gun and see what happens to you. You know, so there's magazine specific issues, there's issues with ammunition. You know, some guns don't like pieces of ammunition. Like for instance, 230 grain ball ammunition is hard to make feed in 1911. And most people who run 1911s will tell you that that's the case. That's why they shoot something else. So I'm encouraging you to keep accurate records, keep things that we can use, and diagnose what's happening with these things. Now, a couple of quick last minute things from Mag 40, a couple of recaps. First of all is this. Bob Main came to Mag 40. Bob, I'm still looking for a cigar from you. Apparently, somehow I didn't get any from you, but must be my fault. Chaz, you know, shot a perfect 300. You know, good on you. But you squeal like a little girl when you do that. That was kind of awkward, I have to say. And then, you know, I guess I did get this one little thing, which I'm going to open on camera because I'm afraid of what it is. But this is supposedly a little care package from Bob Main. And let's see what Bob got for me here. Look at this. I have brand new Handgun World Show Gun Rights Network shirt. So Bob, thank you for the t-shirt. I'm going to wear it with pride. I just wish that you had put one of these in there. Bob, this is called a cigar. Take a look at it. It's called a cigar. You should send me one or have one with me. Pay your debts, Bob Main. Pay your debts. Thank you. Nighthawk out.